Good morning. It's Thursday, June 6th. I'm checking. June 6th, 2024. My name is Terry Morgan, and I'm here to review a couple of things and try to explain a little bit about what I'm doing and moving forward. So, the quick, short explanation: I'm working on channel15radio.com, old-time radio drama for a new era. It's a new project that I've been working on for the last couple of years. And I'm this close to getting things launched. I've got recordings, a bunch of stuff to get done in the next couple of weeks. So here we are, and I'm very excited about it. I will be sharing a lot of stuff on this channel, so you'll be able to see what we're doing. I have also been looking at what I'm doing with classes. I've been absent. I haven't been teaching. And one of the things that occurs as I'm going through some of the material is a gap between what I'm teaching, what I'm giving, and what is easily managed on video. So I've got a couple of things I'm going to talk about together with that this morning, and as I go forward, I am looking at doing some in-person workshops and seminars. So that's something that I have been thinking about. I'm not ready to start doing it anytime soon, but it is something that is, I would consider it, and I'm going to be looking at it as a combination of what I'm doing in the video and what might be possible in person. So a lot depends on location, a lot depends on what kind of schedule and arrangements that I might make, but I am going to look at that. All right, put this down. In reviewing some of the taiji material that I have, I paid attention to the sense that we want to quiet the mind, quiet the body, quiet the breath, move in harmony with what the form asks us to do and with what our body is capable of doing. That idea, as we start out, it's from Yang style Tai Chi, right? As we start out, that sense of whole body connection, relaxed, controlled, slow, continuous movement, and the coordination with both the external body parts, hands and feet, elbows and knees, shoulders and hips, is maintained. We also need to pay attention to what we're doing. Right? The sense that, and I'm going to stop in just a second, the sense that we have something more than just the movement needs to be present. It's part of the form. It's part of what we're doing. All right, so this slow, continuous movement, from Yang style, ward off, roll back, press, and push. Ward off, pull down, press and push. Roll back, pull down, press and push, right? That Pang Lu Jian, Zai Le Zhou Kou. Those are the 8 directions, the 8 major applications in Tai Chi. There's also entering, leaving, look left, look right, and centering, the 13 postures. This concept that it's not where I put my hand, that it's what I'm paying attention to internally, matters a lot for what we're practicing. The other thing, and I'm going to talk about this as where I put my hand, if all I pay attention to is where I put my hand, I'm never going to pay attention to what I should be paying attention to, which is my whole body and the extension that takes my hand to where it should go. It's not where I put my hand. I didn't put my hand there. I didn't. My hand went there because that's where my arm went. My arm went there because that's what I decided to do. I could take a beer. That decision, where does that come from? Where does the movement? The movement comes from your center. It doesn't come from your extremities. Oh. That idea is something that is part of all of the martial arts, and it's also part of every movement discipline that I know of. I know a few. And that sense of being centered, being well placed, adds to what we're doing in the forms. If you're not centered and well placed, you can't do anything. You'd be off balance. If you're off balance, being centered doesn't mean here. I'm centered. Okay? I am. That's not. I'm centered. Yeah, I could use this because my centering allows me to do that. If I'm not centered, I can't maintain my balance. If I can't maintain my balance, then I can't do anything, right? So balance and centering are fundamental. That's true no matter what the art is. In Tai Chi, we practice that as part of cloud hands, right? So bend the knees. This again, it's from Yang style. As I'm turning, I'm also paying attention to my center. I'm also paying attention to the applications that I'm doing. And there's applications in here. Pang, Ji, Lu, An. In that order. As each arm moves, the hands remain connected and well coordinated. That connection comes from the center. It doesn't come from, I'm going to put my hands here and I'm going to do this. Okay, this is I put my hands here and now I'm going to turn here. And no, don't do that. Don't do that. It comes from the center outward. As we develop skills, and I'm still going to stay with Tai Chi for a second, as we develop skills in Tai Chi, that extension, ward off, right? Through the center, from the back foot, comes from here, back here, over here, and here, and the heel comes up and out. There is strength, there is some part of force, there is no part of tension. There should be connection with the breath. Shi, hu, shi, hu. That breathe in, breathe out. That was something that Professor Liu used to illustrate what the breath was doing. That extension through the movement is essential. That's how we develop strength and how we develop the ability to use the applications. Ward off, pull down. Ward off. Ward off, pull down. Right? That sense of, what am I doing here? What am I doing in this movement? Ward off. Press. Pull down. Yeah. All right, that simplicity is one of the elements in Tai Chi applications that is often overlooked, not paid attention to. I don't know what to say. Application, oh, I'm going to do this thing and you're going to do this thing, and that's an application. Yeah, well, okay, sure. What if I don't do that thing? What if I do something else? If you understand these four basic applications, ward off, pull down, press, and push. Whatever you do, or whatever I do, you would be able to find a way to counter. It doesn't depend on which hand moves. It depends on the kind of force that I'm trying to use. So if I'm here, ward off. You can use pull down too. Alright, this idea is extended through push hands practice in Tai Chi, and the idea that 推手 there's another person, we're pushing, I'm going to do something, the other person's going to do something, we're going to play. As we do that, we develop the same level of refinement. We want, and put it that way, we want to develop the same level of refinement as with our Tai Chi practice. So the idea that it's going to become Shijiao, wrestling, no, that's not push hands. It's wrestling. It's not wrestling is not bad, wrestling is good, but it's not push hands. Alright, that difference gets muddled quite often. I judged a lot of tournaments, so in practice, we want to keep that clear. So it's not wrestling, it's push hands. The skill that comes through personal practice is what you bring to push hands. And I'm going to say it this way, when you practice, you don't practice fundamentals. You just practice some physical movement. It's not a bad thing. Physical movement, it's a good thing. But it's missing all the rest of the iceberg. It's missing the whole iceberg, really. But it's a boat rowing around the iceberg, watching the iceberg go there. That concept, what am I really doing in this movement? We start out with physical, what am I doing? Feet together, stand straight, pull up through the crown of the head. Oh, shoulders down. I can talk about the hands, I can talk about that for a minute. I'm not going to right this second. As I start to sink, paying attention to the breath, here, right here. If I have not connected through my heels, this will be empty, right? If I have connected, there will be substance. That difference depends on the internal workmanship and understanding that as I'm standing here, as I set my position, I want to open the Yongchuan, set the heel, really connect through the root, Jiaogan, the heel. Connect through the back, through the large heavenly circle, so that I'm well placed, centered, grounded, and connected with the surface that I'm on. So that as I sink, I can then use both the physical movement and the physics of pressing down through the rising part of the movement and connect internally with the breath as the arms come up. That's word off. Word off. Pong. If that is not understood, if all the person knows is I'm supposed to stand here with my feet parallel and raise my hands, and then I drop them, right? My hands come up, my hands go down. That's it. Up and down. I can swing my arms like that. No, that's not Tai Chi. It's not. The first step in learning, feet together, stand straight, open, raise the arms, lower the arms, and sink as you lower the arms. That starting has to be supplemented with more explanation. Otherwise, how do you know? That was connected. This is not. Right? No. Connection with the breath, connection with the internal breath, the qi, connection through the whole body, as well as understanding that each movement, Okay, ward off. This carries the movement, or carries the application of ward off. This does not carry pull down. This could carry G, press. I could use press here. I can use ward off. Push, not really. It could, but not really. Pull down, no. Pull down. Pull down comes next. That sense of what I might do, how I might use the movement, and what might come next are all important for individual practice. What might I do? Here. Ward off, pull down. This is pull down, this is ward off. This is what I might do. Right? Is my posture correct? Am I working through the whole body? Am I using the connection with the breath to extend through the movement? Have I got a sense of centering and placement such that I can move into and out of this particular posture with no trouble at all? Am I strong enough to do that? At what level am I strong enough to do that? Right? Because go back to Yang style Tai Chi again, here we go. As we start, stand straight, feet together, right? I'm going to open and sink, and I'm come up, and I'm going to settle again. I can stop here. I can stop here. Yeah, I could keep going a little bit more. All right, and as I set here, I need to be able to keep this level, right? If I can't, it's too low. I need to work higher. I might also decide that I want to develop the strength. And I am going to work lower. That sense in my back leg didn't straighten. It should have, didn't. That sense of where am I in space, how high or how low, matters for all of our movements. Doesn't matter which one we're paying attention to. All right. I've talked a lot about Tai Chi and Tai Chi principles and this idea of relaxed, quiet strength and what's going on inside, paying attention to that internal circulation and the internal placement. In xingyi, and I had a question, so that's part of why I'm comparing the two today. In xingyi, we have a similar requirement, that sense of being connected, that the whole body is working, but the foundation for xingyi and the foundation for Tai Chi are at the two ends of what Professor Liu called the internal dragon. The head of the dragon is xingyi. It's aggressive. It's going. There is no roll back. There xingyi goes. That strength, that character, need to be part of xingyi. The tail of the dragon is Tai Chi. It's primarily defensive. It can be used for offense. It's primarily defensive. Its tail back there. It's not the one that's coming first, but you should watch out for it if it comes. That distinction is something that we should pay attention to because it's the character of Tai Chi. Bagua is the middle of this dragon. it goes either way. It can be more aggressive, it can be more defensive. It has the nature of being in the middle, the center of the circle. That is part of the nature of Bagua. Being centered to spin, yeah, it's required. So each of these arts are part of this internal dragon. As we're learning and studying and practicing Tai Chi, this sense of being responsive, of being more resilient, of retreating and going this way and that, as we're moving, with the idea behind that we could use, we could use this, we could do something, is the nature of Tai Chi. Tai Chi, we did this I remember this one time with Huang Weilun in Miami. We were all going to go out to lunch or something after class, and we said, well, where would you like to go? Where would you like to go? Well, where would you like to go? So we're all going to be responsive to, yeah, well, we could do that. Yeah, that'd be all right. We could, that, as opposed to if it had been xingyi, it was like, we're going to go eat and we're going to go over here. Y'all want to go? Come on, let's go. That difference matters in the way that we move, in the way that we pay attention to how the movements are done. I'm going to show you this. I'll use, let me start with the xingyi. Five elements. All right, I'm here. Pi, Zhuan, Bang, Hang, Tao. Each, and I'm going to go through this again. Each element has its particulars for the fist form as well as what goes behind it. That connection, same as with Tai Chi, that connection to the principles for this form, xingyi, Tai Chi, matter. As we're learning, it's physically difficult and mentally almost impossible to separate. I've started practicing Tai Chi. I've just started. It's not that you can't do it, just starting. I just started learning Tai Chi, and this xingyi, this looks good over here. I'm going to do this too. Oh, let me do this over here. All right, what you end up with is a muddle of unclear movement that looks like something else, that isn't any of whatever it was you were studying, but it's sort of like, kind of like, right? If I start out, let me come across here. This is the very first part of Xingyi's five elements linking form. That's not Tai Chi. No, they're not soft movements. They're forceful, they're direct, they're connected. They need to be in good time, they need to be in good balance, but that's where that connection stops. If I'm just starting out, again, I'm talking about, I've been at this for 40 years, so I'm not just starting out. If I'm just starting out, and I go from Tai Chi class Relax, connect, be calm. Movement should be soft and supple, very well connected, nice timing, good flow. I come out of that class, and now I come into xingyi class, and xingyi class is set, ready, move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a little tough. It is. It's a little tough. It is. I prepared that. I did. That difference in what we want at an advanced level for this art, xingyi, what we want at an advanced level for taiji are not the same. They're not. That fundamental difference, and that holds true for Bagua as well. There are elements of being a little more aggressive in Bagua. There are elements of being a little more passive in Bagua. So it does combine both ends of that dragon. Excuse me. But the sense that I'm going to take and try and develop this smooth, relaxed movement. And then I'm going to go over here and I need to be forceful, direct, and immediate. Quick. No hesitation. Yeah, I can, maybe, I don't know, I'm going to get there. We'll talk about it. Hey, where are we going? Right? That difference. And I beat up on that a lot this morning. That difference matters in how we develop our physical movements in conjunction with whatever it is the art we're practicing. Our muscles remember these things. Our body remembers these things. This muscle memory that we're working with. So what I used to do, and what I still do, and how I would approach this, is to advise, don't do it. Don't learn both. Learn one. Pick one. Whatever you learn that. Don't try and learn other things. Just stay with that. Whatever it is. Either you're going to get good at it, or you're going to decide that you don't like it. It's pretty much your two choices. If you get good at it, then is the time to do something else. I feel real comfortable with what I'm doing with this, all right? Now I can take something else because now I have a solid foundation in my body, right here, just in the body, not in my head, in the body, for this art. Start learning something else and separate the two. I'm practicing xingyi. This is what I need to pay attention to. Practicing tai chi. This is what I need to pay attention to. Practicing Bagua. This is what I need to pay attention to. Practicing qigong. This is whatever it is that you're practicing. You need to pay attention to what that art asks of us in practice. If you're trying to learn everything all at once, you won't learn anything. You can't. It's in some ways similar to language. You can't learn to read a children's book overnight. You can't. You can learn 4 or 5 words, and then you can learn 4 or 5 more, and then you can learn 4 or 5 more. If you try and learn 300 words a day, unless you're really good, none of them will stick. It's easier to start with a few and build. We use that principle. Start with a few things, pay attention to a few things, and build on that. That's the foundation. So, in taiji, in xingyi, in bagua, in qigong, being centered, well placed, having good body alignment, being relaxed through the body, not tense. Okay? Using the muscles and having tension are not the same. They're not. It's different. There is a tensile strength in being able to use the muscle in a natural way that doesn't appear if the muscle is tense and bunched. So we work on that to develop that extended muscle so that as we're moving, we can move as we choose. There's no bunching, there's no tension that doesn't need to be there. It's movement. That combination with the inner movement. What's going on inside the lower Tantian? What's going on inside? What's going on through the channels and meridians? What's going on through the extension of energy, Jing? All of those things come along with, but they have to be discussed. They have to be, there has to be some explanation so that it's possible to recognize what's there, what's not, and to learn it, if that's your goal. I appreciate everybody that's been with me so far. I will be back tomorrow with Wudang Qigong, thank you. And I will be restarting some of the regular classes that I've been teaching. Again, I'm still in the middle of launching the first show for the Ambassador and channel15radio.com. So it's going to be a couple of weeks yet. I want to thank all of you for your patience in following me, and I appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you.